All right, I'll call the meeting to order. We properly noticed.
The meeting's been posted according to open meeting laws.
Roll call.
President Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Harding.
Here.
Trustee Holm.
Here.
Trustee Moody.
Here.
Trustee Nugent. Trustee Seeger.
Here.
And Trustee Wisniewski.
Here.
And if I move too fast tonight, since you're doing double duty, since Danette is on vacation, let me know. All right, so we're going to start with a proclamation recognizing Trustee Holmes' service, and he looks really thrilled about this. So we have something here that we've all signed, and proclamation, Village of East Troy, Wisconsin, in appreciation of Jim Holmes' dedicated service to the Village of East Troy. The Village Board of the Village of East Troy, Walworth County, Wisconsin, proclaims as follows. Whereas Trustee Jim Holm has served the village in numerous capacities totaling over 25 years, 6 as village trustee and additional years spent serving as the chairperson of the following boards and committees: Park and Rec Board, Community Development Authority, and the Airport Advisory Committee, as well as service as a library board member. And whereas Trustee Holm embodies admirable qualities of dedicated public service, he has consistently demonstrated respectful, thoughtful, and an unassuming leadership. His steady commitment and numerous contributions to the Village of East Troy have earned the appreciation of residents, village officials, and staff alike. Now, therefore, the Board of Trustees recognizes that Trustee Holm's steady and thoughtful leadership has helped strengthen the Village of East Troy as both an organization and a community. His dedication to public service, guided by careful consideration of all facts and an unwavering sense of fairness, reflects a calm, respectful, and reasonable approach that has benefited residents, village officials, and staff alike. And he served as a steadfast advocate for our community, consistently demonstrating empathy, professionalism, and a deep commitment to the well-being of others. He shared his genuine pride in the village through his service, approaching all topics with sincerity and care. And through his balanced and forward-thinking leadership, he supported initiatives that will guide the village toward long-term success, including responsible fiscal planning, providing essential services, protecting and strengthening infrastructure, quality of life improvements, and economic development, all while ensuring that the village's sense of community remained at the heart of every decision. Be it proclaimed by the Board of Trustees that we express our sincere gratitude to Trustee Holm for consistently providing dedicated service and demonstrating an admirable leadership approach. His thoughtful contributions and steady commitment have led to positive improvements that will be recognized by future generations. We extend our best wishes in his future endeavors. Proclaim this 20th day of April, 2026.
I always forget to turn on my button when I have something to say, but I do have something to say tonight. And just a thank you for all of the board members that I've had the pleasure of serving with, Jason and Chief over the years. Mary, someone I can turn to and quietly whisper, "What are they talking about?" and she gives me the answers. It's been a privilege. Also, welcome Adam. We've had a chance to meet for coffee and then over the phone a couple of times. You're going to fit in great with this group. I wish you all the best in your service to the village. I think the last thing, and there's Doug as well. Somebody that I've served with out at the airport. Doug's the kind of guy that comes in and just fixes things. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's the door, if it's the grass needs mowing, or if there's just some disagreement. He approaches everything with a, I can do that attitude, and that's very much appreciated there. The last thing I'd like to point out are these two folks to my left, Eileen and Matt. The village is going to be in great shape as long as these two people are sitting here doing what they do. They're top-notch. You can't replace their expertise, their dedication, and I've just been nothing but impressed over the last. I had a chance to work with Eileen 20 years ago when she was sitting over in that chair. Honestly, if you don't know them, and for those that might be tuning into the video, just know that the village has got some excellent leadership here. we're going to be in great shape for many years to come. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Do you guys want to do citizen participation? Do I need to read this? Okay. You good? No, you're going to make me read it? I just read all that. All right, so no citizen participation? All right, so we'll move on to consent agenda. Oh, you do have something? Come on up.
Hello, good evening. Congratulations on your award. I'm Gina Dingman with Realty Executives. It turns out I think we're going for the permit at the next meeting for the celebration on the square for the 4th of July, but I'm here today. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of some of the businesses on the square. We're really excited about having an event since the Lions are no longer having an event. We've had all the businesses meeting weekly with Vanessa, and I just want to support her when she comes for that permit, because we'd like to try to close that square off. I'm sure all of you have seen First Fridays and the kids darting all over. It gives me a heart attack. I don't stay around too long. So we were hoping that at least for a portion of the time we could get the square so it would be safer. I love the 4th of July parade because it is closed off and we can walk around and visit with everybody. So I'm here to speak in support of that. And we do have some other options that if for some reason we couldn't have the snowplow trucks or help from the village, we could also maybe get that from some private people that could donate some bigger vehicles too. So just keep that in mind. We're willing to do whatever we need to do to work with the village on that and hope that you'll partner with us. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Anything you want to add, Vanessa? You good? Okay. All right, we'll move on to consent agenda. One motion and a second will approve all the following items. Any item may be pulled from the list and voted on separately.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, miscellaneous business. Item 1, East Troy Area Chamber of Commerce Marketing Expense Report. Vanessa? And I see you already have the 250 logo there.
You'll be seeing that. I'm putting it on the next agenda. We have been kind of working from behind, but we have a really fun plan. We're doing First Friday on Friday, July 3rd, and then Saturday, July 4th, we're going to have a downtown block party. And all the business owners have been meeting, like Gina said, weekly. So you'll get more information on that. And I'm going to also email just a heads up to Chief and Jason so they have an idea of kind of what we're looking at. But that's a little bit separate from my tourism report. We're hoping to be on tonight and get it all done, but it just is, there's so many pieces. So I had a couple of slides. That's okay.
Sorry, I'm having problems with my PDF, so bear with me for a moment. Sorry, Vanessa.
That's okay.
They weren't working. I might have to just close the PDF. See, they're not.
When in doubt, reboot.
Yeah, I'm going to just close this and reopen it. Sorry.
Look at that grass. Looks so good.
There we go.
So I gave a pretty thorough report, but I'm just going to highlight a couple of pieces as far as our sort of strategic plan goes. Do you have the slides? Yeah, that's okay. And I can delve back into anything if you have questions.
I have to reopen this one, too. I don't know what's
sorry.
going on with it. It's not your fault. It's something with my Adobe.
I don't have any videos. It's pretty,
I know, I did notice that this time.
just make it easy.
It was supposed to be easy.
Okay, so something that we've been really focusing on is amplifying our impact. So we're trying to leverage these marketing dollars in the attention economy. So today, the landscape of tourism and marketing has totally shifted. We're no longer advertising in those traditional advertising economies. We advertise in an attention economy. And the ability to capture and hold attention determines success. So historically, you could just pay for an ad, and that alone would generate visibility. Today, that approach is no longer sufficient. You can't purchase attention, you have to earn it. And viral moments, immersive experiences, and shareable environments now drive awareness at a scale that far exceeds anything we could do with traditional media. So we always give the example of like the chicken dance video that generated billions of views on TikTok. You just simply can't buy that. And so what we've been really trying to do is use our marketing dollars strategically and combine that with attention to maximize our impact. And so you can kind of see a lot of the stuff that we're doing in our marketing and the way that our events and experience go. We're trying to fuel this repeat visitation and extended engagement, and then position our community as an innovative destination. And, you know, we did kind of the hard work, so we're in sort of a really great place because for the last, you know, since 2013, we've been making the things happen. We had to make a square that was a destination. We had to make events. We had to make all the things. And now we kind of get to promote them. But we're really trying to work on making our events stand out because we're little and we can't compete dollar for dollar with places like Lake Geneva or even Elkhorn that have much bigger budgets than us. So if you go to the next, so we always say we're a tiny town with big results. Since we were named East Troy's tourism entity in 2016, we've tried to take a bold strategic approach and really leverage these innovative out-of-the-ordinary initiatives to attract new audiences, support our businesses, and maximize the economic impact of travel. East Troy Lights is an amazing example of really something that's helped put us on the map. And that square magic, you know, I said, like, I wish I could have met our village founders to have that foresight, to have dedicated that land to us, because it's the reason we have everything we have. We really focused on the square, and now we're starting to see the effect trickle out to the other areas of East Troy. This year, we are heading into year 11 of First Fridays, and that's just driving this consistent visibility and an economic impact for our downtown businesses, but it's also starting to spread across the entire town. East Troy Lights, we will be in year 7. That is showing kind of how an off-season experience can transform the square into a destination. And, you know, we really try to pump up those interactive elements and kind of extend visitation throughout the whole month. So we really work to build a destination that delivers, and we have gotten a lot of success by going with that Hallmark style identity, the Stars Hollow, from if you guys are Gilmore Girls fans, the Stars Hollow feeling. And we have had regional and national media recognition that's just reflecting the impact of this consistent investment. We were in Milwaukee Magazine, we did have paid billboards, but a lot of it is just our relationships that we've built. We were in Midwest Living again this year. That has a 3.2 million person audience. So for a place of our size, it's really impressive. And then we are trying to be creative, but also not recreating the wheel. So something that you'll see this year, and you probably kind of saw it already, last year we launched the scavenger games, which was a big interactive downtown scavenger hunt. This year we transformed that into the Great Hunts. So we did an egg hunt, which was wildly successful for Easter, and then we're going to do a 250 coin hunt, and then we're going to do a pumpkin hunt, and then we haven't figured out what we're going to do for Christmas, but something for the December season. And it's sort of like just positioning us in this, they call it experiential tourism, and then just increasing our regional visibility and engagement. So we had the eggs, we partnered with Whitewater and Elkhorn. So we had people coming from all over, and then we're hoping to do Lake Geneva for the coin hunt. And we're really working on those novel experiences. People really want these one-of-a-kind events. They want unique foods, interesting stores, new adventures, and they're willing to spend the money to get them, so we're trying to provide that. And then the Square, obviously, investment here leverages that additional investment elsewhere in the community. Our local foodie scene and our Shop Local is something that we promote heavily. Obviously, our community events. And then we really try to stay on brand with all the tourism trends. So just kind of giving people a reason to come here and stay here. And even if that means, you're having a family reunion and you guys choose to stay here just because there's more stuff going on and reasons to be here. Just having that constant area of interest. And so that's sort of the continued evolution of what we're doing using tech. So if you see the visual with the, what is that called? Fortune, or the ball? Crystal ball, thank you. The crystal ball, that was something we launched during the scavenger games. And then we kind of paired it off this year. We will have a spooktacular bash. So we'll still kind of celebrate the spooky season. And then the tech is going into those big egg hunts, or the hunts. And then we obviously want to continue those cherished traditions. Gina brought that up, gathering on the day of the parade, seeing your family. We have amazing partners. The fire department comes to all the First Fridays, and that's just like one of the favorite things for kids to do. Coming and doing your ornament on the first Friday in December. The homecoming parade, we kind of took a role in that. We worked with the soccer team to bring back the Trojan horse, and then that was one of the challenges at the scavenger games. So just kind of putting in that identity of East Troy into everything that we do. So we want you to feel when you're at First Fridays, you want to feel East Troy. So we're going to do a vintage summer bash in June, and we're going to work with the Historical Society and play like old videos from the high school. And so really just having that signature feel. But when you come from out of town, it's almost like a Hallmark movie. You get that small town vibes. And then really just turning these visits into experiences. We have so many amazing attractions. At this point, it's just making sure that we're marketing them in creative ways. Our trolley is obviously one of our showcases, East Troy Brewery, and then that foodie scene is something that we like to kind of continue to promote. And then obviously maximizing the economic impact. So for events like the light show, instead of just having that one big Santa day, we're having repeated return visits for an entire month. We launched the Winter Wine Walk, which has been sold out. This is year 5. The ball drop has just growing. And then we included East Troy Lights Live. So just having different events and ways for people to experience the town. And I always like to show us where we started. That building, the white building, was Kate's Needful Things before the most recent wave of renovations happened. And then you guys obviously remember the investment the village put on the square, which I'm super grateful for. But that was sort of what we were dealing with. And, the future is bright. We've done the hard part. We imagined, built, and proved that tourism can thrive here. And now we have the opportunity to keep building, to dream bigger, reach further, and just continue shaping a destination that people are drawn to and proud to call home. I think our continued partnership and shared commitment and investment, we can really carry this momentum forward, and we can leave a big impact for years and years to come. Do you guys have any specifics on the report?
Any questions or comments for Vanessa?
I just think that this was a really great idea, Vanessa, back in 2016. I think you have made this tourism entity of this village an incredible thing. I visit with a number of people that are leaders outside of this community, and as soon as I tell them I'm from the village, they recognize all the efforts that you do. It's known across this county, across the southeastern part of the state, what you've been doing. So I really applaud that, and thank you so much for doing it.
And yeah, just that working together, like, people don't really believe us when I say, yeah, we work together, but we do, you know? And the meeting every week with all the village owners, or the business owners, is proof of that. Like, we just make it happen. The Trojan horse is one of my new examples. We were just told it was gonna be a quick, just fix together, and it was a really extensive rebuild. And Contract Comestibles helped do, you know, Complete Piers and Lifts helped do all of that heavy lift work. So people just, they come and they help, and we have a true community. And the egg hunt, we had 31 spots. We included the library, and we're trying to include, you know, more of our spots. We're working with are you still on the beach, or no? Is Dan on the beach? Joe's on the beach. We're gonna work to kind of incorporate the beach as a partner this year in some of our stuff, because they have so much life and so much going on there. So just, you know, really now honing it all in.
I just echo what Scott said. I work with a lot of people who live in Milwaukee County, Ozaukee County, and when I talk about East Troy, they're like, "Oh, I came down for this," or "I came down for that." They know and what's going on here. So you are getting that reach for sure. A question that I have is over, you know, as you said, you're like building these and you're evolving it. What data or like what feedback do you get, or like how do you get that data or feedback?
So for like the light show, for example, Eileen, do you have the report? So we use Travel Wisconsin's data. We also use a lot of business surveys. That's something we're really trying to work on, is to show here. Sorry, wait, can you scroll up a little? So Travel Wisconsin uses a metric, and they say, so, okay, East Troy Lights, wait, sorry, will you scroll up a little? They just changed the number, so I have the old one in my head. They say for every dollar spent on tourism ad campaigns, $8 return to state and local governments. And then they also have a formula, so they multiply the number of overnight visitors by $219 per overnight visitor, and then the day trippers by $75 per day tripper. So it's tricky because a lot of our events are, you know, free, and we don't charge attendance, but we have, because we had a marketing grant for the light show for the first 3 years, we do have some metrics on where people were coming from and what they were here for. We are gonna try, we do kind of like the old school clicker method, like we go and we count bodies from the top of the square. But we are gonna try to do some incentives for people to fill out surveys. For the scavenger games, we had a lot of feedback. Mainly for our grants, we have a lot of data, but we're trying to kind of fill that in. We do have reports from, and I can provide that as well. What we're trying to show too is the impact from the downtown businesses. So for example, we have a local restaurant. They said they saw a 60% increase on the scavenger game days for those 2 years versus the previous year. So we do know that our stuff is working. You know, Alpine Valley is obviously a huge boost for us as well. Most of the businesses sell out when we bring in those people. So, you know, bringing in those people does help. But we are trying to get a longer data. It's tricky because a lot of the stuff's new. But we do have that, and then we have like for the billboard campaign, we have the impressions. I don't know how they really, like, do they really track the eyeballs on it? They say they do. But we have impressions, and we have like times, and then I try to shift, especially on social media, what we're doing just to try to get attention and shares. And
No, that's great, yeah, and as you pointed out, it's one of those things that it is hard to measure because it's not like we're selling tickets and can go, oh, please fill out the survey. So it's kind of only the people who want to fill out a survey and things like that. I was just curious because, as you said, like the Department of Tourism's feedback here is kind of what's so important about this investment. And, it's obviously we all enjoy going to the events, but
Right.
it's the return on investment that also our business owners and the community as a whole is getting from this effort. So
Yes,
thank
and they're
you.
saying, so this is for the state, but the visitor economy generated $1.7 billion in state and local taxes. So that offset $678 per household. So if tourism didn't exist, every household in the entire state would pay an extra $678. But yeah, I mean, the state has had back-to-back record-breaking tourism for the last several years. So it's really exciting. They've done a pretty big investment. And we are kind of lucky because we're in Walworth County, so we get to kind of get the Lake Geneva traffic. And we've had a lot of success with pulling them up here. And the Chicago people and the lake people. But we also have a lot of data for like the egg hunts. Like we have all the people that did it, where they're from, so that's really helpful. All of our tech stuff, we have more data behind it.
Any other questions or comments for Vanessa? You good? All right, well, thank you very
Thank
much. We're
you.
looking forward to
Thank
another
you.
great year. First Friday, May 1st. And that is next week, yes. All right. Item 2 under miscellaneous business, consider extension of construction commencement date for MFT East Troy LLC on project on parcel RA 4704-00001 of the East Troy Business Park. Eileen?
The development agreement with MFT East Troy required construction to commence on April 15th. That was not possible. They were still finalizing some approvals. There were some back and forth on some conditions of approval that occurred at the Plan Commission in January. In addition, one of the last requirements before they commence construction is a pre-construction meeting with development staff, and that occurred on Friday. Also, due to the weather conditions, there is some concern that they're going to be a little delayed in that, so we're asking that the board allow an extension to April 30th, and then we simply communicate that to the title company, that title to the property is held in escrow until that construction is commenced.
Do you think with the weather last week that April 30th is long enough?
I'm hoping so. The developer did agree to that. If the board wanted to, you could do May 4th, because that's our next meeting date. So if you needed to extend it again, it would give you the option to extend it again without having a special meeting.
I make a motion to extend the construction commencement date for MFT East Troy LLC to May 4th.
I second that.
All right, questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to ordinances and resolutions. Item 1, Resolution 2026-05, authorizing state stewardship grant application for design and construction of multi-use trail extension and pedestrian bridge in Honey Creek Nature Area. This is the multi-use trail along 120, correct?
No, this would actually be what we talked about at the last meeting,
Oh,
of
thank you.
Phase 2 of the trails in the nature area. So there's two resolutions here, 05, 06. 05 is just asking for authorization to apply for the grant, which we had talked about again at the last meeting. We did talk about it at Park and Rec last week. They were supportive of it. And then 06 is we have to amend our CORP plan, Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, because it didn't mention anything about the pedestrian bridge. So that needs to be in our CORP plan in order to be eligible for the grant.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-05, authorizing the state stewardship grant application for design and construction of the multi-use trail extension and pedestrian bridge in Honey Creek Nature Area.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-06, Third Amendment to Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, Corp., adding a multi-use trail extension in Honey Creek Nature Area.
I think Jim should have a chance to make one. Okay, then I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2026-06, the Third Amendment to the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, adding a multi-use trail extension in the Honey Creek Nature Area.
Second that.
All right, questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to staff reports. Airport, first quarter 2026 report. Doug, you going to make Jim give this report for you?
I've got questions.
He's got questions?
Okay, hello, everybody. First off, obviously, you guys saw in there that Doug Nielsen is going to be leaving the airport without overstretching my bounds. Like I said, he made it clear that he feels bad about it. Was trying to make it work, but I think he miscalculated how much work was out there and how bad things were. For a one-man band, it was overwhelming for him, and he said it was just too much to handle on his own. He wishes he could keep going, but he said it's just overwhelming for him. So he regrets it, but he's giving us a 180-day notice. So by this fall, he should be out of there. And I know Jason had mentioned to him too, if he heard of anybody else that would want to come in there or that we could get in there, we're going to keep our ears open now if anybody else hears anything too for the airport. But so for the summer months, he'll be around too. And he also stated that if we needed if somebody comes in, like during the EAA in the future or even this winter, if somebody comes in and they need assistance, he's more than happy to come out and help us out any way possible too. So I think that was very nice of him. And he's, like I said, great guy to have. I think we'll truly miss him on that part. So the other big thing that we're dealing with is fuel pricing, which obviously everybody knows when they go by a gas station. But we got lucky. We got a full tanker load of gas in there, 100 low lead, before the price jumped up, and we were able to get it in there, and we were able to keep our price. We're the cheapest price of 100 low lead around, and it shows with our records, with our sales. They've been very consistent, very well with even with the high prices. The jet fuel too. We got some fuel in there before the price went way up, and we've been able to sell it at a cheaper price. Unfortunately, now we had to get some more fuel in there, and we're going to have to jack the prices up quite a bit too, so we're not giving everything away. So, but if you look at the record or even our charts for between last year and this year for the same time frame, we've actually increased our sales considerably. So, I'm just hoping that trend keeps going up more and more. So. Same projects as far as years past too. We've, after the winter, you're dealing with repairs as far as lawn damage. This winter, like I said in the report, it was not a lot of snow, just a lot of events of snow. So if there's an inch in the ground or 7 inches in the ground, you still cover the same square footage. So it's like I said, we were able to stay ahead of it, and there was no problems at all. A lot of other projects going on. Like I said, fence rows are going to be an ongoing problem. Trees are going to grow constantly, and trying to keep them cleared out and stay ahead of them is something that we're working on, and we're gaining on it every year. So, any other questions?
Yeah, I just had a question on the fuel price. How do you calculate the fuel price if you're mixing in more expensive fuel? I never understood that, so.
What we do is we have so many cents that we want to make as profit on the fuel. We know we can pull a tank down to 600 gallons in the tank, and then the pump doesn't draw anymore. We allow it to get so low if, for instance, when the 100 low lead was ready to start jumping up when the war hit and they said everything was coming up, luckily we were down to the point where we could take a full 8,000 gallons in that tank. We gambled. I talked to Jason about it. We said, let's get a full tanker load in here, because through that time frame, we can keep our price low and run it down. We know like the jet fuel, we know it's getting down there. We purchased 1,000 gallons just to get us by. I know it's a high price, but we know when the cheaper stuff is getting to the bottom, we kind of know what, there's 600 gallons left in there. It's like, okay, then we gotta start raising the price because we're starting to go into the more expensive stuff, so.
Doug's taking readings of the tanks every day, so we know how much we sell every day, and we know where
Yes.
we're at, and when we purchase fuel, and how many gallons remain at that price. And
Yeah, and we, like I said, with purchasing this fuel very cheap, like the 100 low lead, we've been able to kind of up our profit a little bit, but it's still, you're not trying to rake anybody over the coals, but you're not trying to create problems with other airports. So you try to stay close to them too, so you're not creating enemies either. You don't want to cut each other's throats either, so.
I thought his answer was going to be, 10 cents less than Burlington.
I could see that too, it'd be a lot easier.
that bottom graph too is a little misleading. If you look at that, there's only one data point, first quarter for 2026. That's why it looks like that.
Yeah, but to this graph, setting aside 2026 because we're not done yet. I mean, on the 100 low lead, you've basically, if you can continue that trend, you've reversed a 15-year downward trend.
And the people that come into the airport are really, I mean, obviously now with the price being so high, people are really looking for a good deal. But even before this, we've kind of created a reputation of good quality fuel with Titan and the fact that our prices are matching or even better than Burlington. And I've heard from people too that people would rather come into East Troy, fly into East Troy than Burlington. For whatever reason, they said it's not as easy to come in and get fuel and so forth. So we have a little bit of advantage in that as far as that goes too, so.
Speaking of Titan, what I was going to ask about with Mr. Nielsen's being a victim of his own success, is you said having to have, a more robust, larger presence. Is that, would Titan have any connections for us, or maybe companies that might offer,
A different
shop?
avenue, yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I could reach out to our salesman, Bill Kovac. It's something I can ask him and see if they have any ideas. What do they see in other places that are working in an FBO, like Doug Nielsen had mentioned to me. He said, like Burlington, they have a repair shop down there, but they have multiple people in it. But I think the problem, I shouldn't say it's a problem, but Doug Nielsen has been an engineer and a mechanic in the airline business so long, and he's something that has a reputation of being very precise. He wouldn't let anything go, which he said other places, he's seen stuff that comes in, that's the problem, that people let go, and then he signs off on it. He says, if my name's on it, it's going to be 100%, and other people just kind of let stuff go. So he's kind of fighting that battle. So, but yes, getting back to your question, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and we'll start looking into different avenues and possibilities to get in there. So,
So, I mean, obviously, we're going to lose some revenue because of this, right? And I think we could probably have two airplanes in that hangar by the end of the week after Doug's gone. But I don't know that that's what we want, right? I don't know that that is doing a service to the airport, and that's what we really want to try to hopefully find in the next few months, is somebody that can come in there and keep that momentum moving.
yeah, like you said, for short term, if we had to keep, the winter, especially the winter months, if there's a short term, I'm constantly getting calls for people looking for warm hangar space, bigger planes and so forth. So if it was a short term purpose, yeah, we probably could sustain some income coming in, but like you said, we would rather have a business in there that's going to help the airport though too, so.
Would you recommend there be at least two people helping out? I mean, it sounds like Doug is overwhelmed.
Yes, that may be the problem, is that he didn't want to get that big. He wanted to, and he looked at all the data, and that he said, if everything is, he was hoping once he went through all of the planes that he does the annuals on, that the next come around, it would be a lot easier because there's less problems. But he says it's one thing after another, and then once a plane comes in. So, yeah, I think another person would help, but I don't know if maybe he doesn't even want to take that on as far as to go that big. So without getting into it, I don't know what to what it would cost, or if you have to put one person on, if you need two people to do the paperwork, and it all depends how big it would get, so. But I think, like I said, we can keep an eye open and start looking in different avenues.
Any other questions for Doug? All right, thanks, Doug. All right, item 2, municipal court, March 2026. Any questions there? Item 3, police department 2026 first quarter report. Chief?
The new officer's out on his own. Him having so much experience, field training went pretty quick. So that's good. He started Saturday on his own. So it helps out with the schedule a little bit. Anything else? Any questions?
All right. Item 4, March financial report. Any questions for Eileen? All right, committee reports. Item 1, Plan Commission draft minutes from April 13th, last week's meeting. Any questions for Brian or me? All pretty straightforward stuff. Item 2, Airport Advisory Committee minutes from March 9th. Jim? I think we already heard from Doug. Anything else here?
No.
No? Jim's final report? No. Excuse me. Item 3, Library Board meeting minutes from March 10th. Mary, anything here?
We have received back the operational cost study, so the board is starting to figure out next steps regarding pulling it into a larger package to present to this group.
Okay, we do not need a closed session this evening, so we will skip that. So I will allow you to make your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.